Going on, everyone? Golden Ticket to History coming to you live. Kind of wish I had the opportunity to take and to have the community aspects of my channel, but I think you get that once you pass 1,000 subscribers. I think that's when they give you the options of being able to post. Oh, we have someone here. Who do we have here? Oh, they left. That's unfortunate. Yes, we are at Greenwood Cemetery here in downtown Orlando, Florida. I've been here a couple different times, done a couple different types of videos here. And I'm here again, filming. You see right there the sign that says Eeps Shine Plot, Greenwood Cemetery. It's because right over here is the final resting place of Francis Eeps. And for those of you who don't know, it's right here on the side. Francis Eeps, born September 20th, 1801, entered into arrest May 30th, 1881. For those of you who do know, or don't know, this is the grandson of Thomas Jefferson, the former president of the United States, laid to rest in one of these plots. It is unfortunate to see that there are some final resting places that are broken in half. There's one over there that's broken, which is very unfortunate. The cemetery is quite old. It's the oldest in Orlando. Started with interments in the 1800s. Many of the prominent members of the Orlando community and most of the people who pretty much made Orlando what it is. We drive up and down downtown Orlando, all the different streets. There's very different names here. Most people would say, well, these names here are just as unique names to come up to name these streets. Partly, but mainly to pay homage to the founders. Oh, we have someone else who's joined. Who's joined us? They left again. That's unfortunate. But anyhow, I decided to go live for a little bit. As I said before, this next month or so is going to be a little wishy-washy in my ability to upload videos. So I wanted to take a moment to spend some time to pay my respects. That's very unfortunate. Dickinson, 1845 to 1915. That's so unfortunate. Hopefully the cemetery can get around to fixing some of these final resting places. As you can see, this one here is from 1885, straight ahead from me. 1898. Boom right here in front of me. Pretty sure, but not 100% sure, that this is the final resting place of the individual to which Boone High School gets its namesake, John K. Boone. I'm pretty sure, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that he's the namesake to which Boone High School was named after. I have to do a little bit more research into the history to make sure, but I can go back and look at this video. We have lost a lot of other very prominent names here. Right on the other side of the Eaps family plot, you can see the name Paramore. Some of you may know that area. It's a very prominent neighborhood here in the Orlando area. If you want more clarification, you see here Marie Jefferson Eaps, showing the connection. So you can see these are all the Paramore family plots. See, most of these big stones are just signifying the family plots. Paramore's a very, very prominent community here. It's actually the community to which the famous movie actor Wesley Snipes, it's actually the area that he grew up in. Yeah, that's the Paramore family plot. We have the Beggs family plot. Beggs is another prominent name here in Central Florida. Kind of unfortunate you can't see. For those who don't know, there's a executive airport really close, which is why all these planes keep flying over top of me. But yeah, so if you watched some of my videos from the beginning, you know that I've filmed here a couple of times. Out in that direction, there's a funeral service going on right now. This is an active cemetery. But out in that direction is actually, yeah, I'm putting almost exactly in that direction, is where they filmed the 2019 Disney Plus show, The Right Stuff, where they filmed the cemetery scene after the test pilot died. Those of you who haven't had a chance to watch the show or to take and check out my video on the show, it's down on my channel. I recorded it about 3 months before I uploaded it. So the actual recording date versus the uploading dates are not the same. But yeah, so this is the cemetery where, unfortunately, many individuals lost their lives back in 2016 during the Pulse nightclub massacre. This is where 4 of them are laid to rest, whereas all 49 were given the opportunity to. The Board of Trustees and the powers that be got together and said that they needed to do something. They needed to ensure that these individuals did not have to worry about finding a final resting place for their loved ones. I believe there was still potentially costs involved in relation to the opening and closing the services, but those might have been potentially covered by third-party groups. But I believe just the plots themselves were offered to the families of the victims of the Pulse nightclub incident. I've also done a video on that location as well, the final resting places. I haven't done the nightclub yet. It's been on my list. I've been around it. I've been to the property, but I just haven't felt that I could take and do it justice. And that's the main reason why I haven't done it yet. Just because I feel that I couldn't do the video justice. You know, when you cover some of these topics, there's a lot of factors that play into it, because on one hand, to the person who's recording it, there may or may not be a relationship connection to the person. I mean, you may not personally know these individuals to which you're telling their stories. So there's always that potential problem of not doing it justice. You know, potentially being disrespectful to the families of the loved ones of the victims who lost their lives, depending on the situation. There's always a problem of potentially, you know, not coming off sincere, even if you may be trying to be sincere. It's very difficult to cover a lot of these topics, because again, you're dealing with very gruesome details. But here we have the Gore plots, another prominent name here in Orlando. The gentleman who started T.G. and Lee, the milk company, the dairy company, calls this cemetery, his final resting place, his home as well. I actually haven't seen his final resting place yet. I've seen pictures. I've been here multiple times. Last time I came here, I was trying to go see him. However, I had a really busy schedule and other things I needed to get to in the time that I had. So T.G. Lee had to wait, and I'm gonna try to make it out today. I also did a video on another more grim topic, which was the Ocoee Massacre. The Ocoee Massacre was an event that happened on Election Day in 1920 here in Central Florida, and one of the most prominent victims of that massacre calls the cemetery home. And for the first almost 100 years that he was laid to rest, he did not have a final resting place at his grave. When you looked at the cemetery plot area, you would assume that it was empty. But in reality, there was a whole lot of graves buried in that area. And that was the grave of Julius July Perry. I've had a few people jump in and jump out, which is always good, you know. I wish I had the ability to post saying, hey, I'm going live at this such and such time, but I don't have those capabilities yet with my channel. I think it comes with more views. Like, I know once I passed a certain amount of views, I started getting a little bit more ability. Like, even going live, for example, was something I couldn't do until a couple hundred subscribers ago. I know things like super chats and stuff come into play when you pass a certain amount, being able to turn stuff like that on. I think it also comes into play when it comes to communities. I guess once I get to those points, I'll know. And once that happens, I'll be able to communicate with all of you and to let you know when I'm planning on going live. So I just wanted to go live for a little bit. For those of you who are new to my channel, who have been with my channel since day one and wanted to take and to check in, ask me questions, maybe to give feedback about something you maybe wanted to see, just to give you that space to be able to. You know, whenever my favorite YouTubers go live, I like to try to take and to check in when I can, to at least ask questions, to check and see how they're doing, just to know that I'm not just a number in the subscribers. You know, it's something that, you know, every subscriber is important. You know, someone's literally have taken the time to be willing to not only watch one of your videos, but to subscribe to your channel. And it's something that I believe to be very important. And it's something I don't take lightly. I appreciate every single one of my subscribers. And those who continue to watch my videos, I greatly appreciate it. So yeah. I'm going live for a few more moments, maybe another 5-10 minutes. Mainly just depending on if anyone pops in. That's the biggest thing, is I wanted to give you guys the space to ask questions. The ground's a little unstable in some places. Some of these graves are very old, as I said before. Over 120, almost 140 years old, some of these graves. So it's bound for the elements to kind of take their toll. But anywho, testing out a new mic that I've had for a while. I just haven't used it yet. Not sure how well it is compared to the other one. Just filmed another video yesterday, about an hour and a half out of where I normally would go. Had an opportunity to go and film at a location that I've been wanting to film at. I'm hoping that I get a chance to go back again and spend a little bit more time than I did. I had a very small amount of time to go there, check out the locations, and then get out of the way. So yeah, a lot of people use this cemetery for exercise. Every time I come here, especially if I come here in the mornings, there's always people out jogging and running and riding their bikes. It's definitely enough space here. You know, you have a lot of different loops and turns, which really gives people the opportunity to exercise and kind of change up the areas they go in a safe environment. You know, there used to always be these stigmas about cemeteries. People used to view them as being places where people hang out and hoodlums and all that stuff. And I always felt at peace when I go to cemeteries. The fact that this is where people spend their eternity. There's another plane. So yeah, so hopefully this mic's working good. I've only used it, I just did a quick video at this location, and I tested it out and I listened to it back, and it sounded pretty clear. So hopefully it's still as clear as I thought it was going to be. I'm also using my gimbal, which I don't use very often. Eventually I'm going to invest in one of those fancy gimbals. This one's just a really basic one, it's a stationary one, just to kind of keep everything stationary. Once I have a little bit more financial means, that's something I want to add. I know there's a video I did about 2 months ago that a couple people said, oh, we have someone else who's joined us. Hello. Who has joined us? And they left. Whenever I ask them if they've joined, they leave. Maybe they just want to be flies on the walls. I don't know. But anyway, yes, I did a video a couple months ago where I filmed the outsides of the compounds of one of the brothers to Osama bin Laden, and one of you guys posted a comment saying that I needed a drone to fly over the property, and it's definitely something I'd love to have, and I would like to get soon. Just trying to get the financial means to be able to invest in a drone, and one that's decent as well. You know, you don't just want to get one that as soon as I try to send it up into the sky, it just gets caught in the wind and crashes into the ground. That'd be unfortunate. For those of you just chiming in, I'm here at Greenwood Cemetery in Orlando, Florida. Very prominent cemetery here. It's the oldest one in Orlando. It's owned by the city of Orlando. It's home to a lot of very prominent people in Central Florida history. It's home to the grandson of Thomas Jefferson, a former president of the United States, as well as is the final resting place of 4 of the victims of the Pulse nightclub incident in 2016. There's also believed to be a lot of supernatural history here as well. I've actually never came out here for that purpose. Eventually I may come out here and just kind of do a story or just check things out, and I just haven't. I've done a few videos going to haunted locations, historic locations. Gotten various different feedbacks in relations to that. Some have been very positive, some have been very neutral. I debated on doing videos where I go to places and kind of do little investigation type things, and I don't know. I haven't really got much positive or negative or neutral feedback about that. It'll be a good opportunity to be able to ask those types of questions during a live video like this. For those of you who would be interested in things like that, me going to haunted locations, me going to locations and going live while I'm at those locations. Yeah. I definitely have a lot of things on the horizon once I get past March. Definitely when I get on the other side of March, I have a lot of plans, places I want to go, things I want to see. I've been compiling lists of various different filming locations and historic locations and true crime locations. Some videos, some locations I'm really prepared to do. Others are still at the wayside. One location I'm still not fully set on is doing the story of the Kessey Anthony case. That's one that I haven't been able to emotionally get myself to do. I have done the final resting places and stories of young children who have unfortunately lost their lives in very tragic ways. One of the most difficult ones was the one I did on Jessica Lunsford. That one was very difficult to do. And even though it's been almost a year since I did the video, it still kind of eats at me. So that's some of the rationale behind why I haven't done other videos on that topic, specifically focusing on the victims of young children, is because of just the impact that video had on me. It's just sickening to think that things like that can happen to such young people. So that's a lot of the big reasons why I haven't done the Kaylee Anthony location, was because of just the nature of the topic. I've been around the different locations. I've been in the same area where she lived, but I just have not been able to bring myself to do that video on that topic. So eventually I may be able to get myself to the point where I can do the Kaylee Anthony video, maybe. But it's definitely not right now. But I do have a lot of new videos I'm going to be looking at. some new filming locations, a couple of true crime locations. There's been a handful of things have happened here in Central Florida, especially in recent times, that I want to do. I want to do the story of Jennifer Kessey. It was a very prominent female case here in Central Florida. She went missing from her condo, and the case is still cold. They've never found out who did it. So yeah, so that's one I want to do. It's not too far from distance-wise from where I typically stay. It's actually in a very busy area of Orlando. It's over by the Millennium Mall, which those of you who've been to Orlando know it's a very upscale mall down by the attractions. That's where Jennifer Kessey lived, and unfortunately went missing from. And they found her car, I think 3 days later, in a parking lot. But her remains have never been found, nor have they ever been able to figure out who the perpetrator was behind those her disappearance. So yeah, yesterday I was in the Port Orange area. It's a little bit of a hint to one of the next videos I'm going to have up. How to deal with a very prominent location and a very prominent case here in Central Florida, dealing with Port Orange. So a little bit of a hint with one of our next videos is going to be. I'm actually in the editing process of it now. Mainly it's just some voiceovers. It was really windy where I was at, as well as the locations that I was at. Well, to one degree at least they were all together, which was nice. The fact that all three locations that I went to were less than probably a half a mile from each other. Which was nice, being able to take and only have to drive maybe 800 to 1,000 feet between all the locations I went to. But now, because of the fact of being so windy and because of all of the noise from that video, I'm having to do a lot of voiceovers to try to salvage, some of the audio. But that video will be up soon. For those of you just chiming in, live from Greenwood Cemetery here in Orlando, Florida. Very prominent cemetery here in Orlando, Florida. It's the oldest cemetery in Orlando. It's actually owned by the city of Orlando. And it's known for being the final resting places to a series of prominent people, as well as some has been a filming location before, which I find to be kind of unique. Places could always take and use they could just make a sound stage, or they create a graveyard or a cemetery at a sound stage. And I kind of like the fact that they didn't do that. That they didn't take and just create a sound stage for the filming of the right stuff. They actually went out to location. One of my favorite movies growing up was Hocus Pocus, and it was kind of annoyed me the fact that they easily could have taken and went to a location to do the filming, but instead they set up the graveyard scenes, the cemetery scenes, were done on a sound stage in California. I also thought it was kind of unique that in Hocus Pocus, all three of the witches never actually went to Salem. All of the scenes that took place involving the Sanderson sisters was done in California. They never even had to actually leave California to go to Massachusetts. But I think they kind of rectified that a little bit in the second movie, where they actually went to locations in Massachusetts. I've seen some videos of the filming taking place of Hocus Pocus 2. So yeah, so I just want to give you guys a space to ask me any questions that you have. Maybe give some comments about some videos you'd like to see in the future. Maybe ones here in Florida, maybe ones abroad. You know, it's definitely on my horizon to leave the state this year. I definitely have some plans going up to the northern parts of the United States. Probably at the end of the year, I know I'm going to Philadelphia. So I'm going to do some filming locations there. It's a brisk little morning, afternoon now. It's things around almost 1 o'clock here in Orlando. About 60 degrees or so. Nice and breezy. I came out to this location to film a video. A little bit of a hint. This mausoleum here has a lot to do with the location to which this video was on. So if you have any questions, have any thoughts, by all means put it in the comments. Testing out a new mic too, so I'm not sure how well it sounds. I also have my gimbal. It's a very cheap gimbal, but it's still a gimbal. Hopefully try to stabilize things a little bit. Probably stay on for about another 10 minutes or so, give or take, I don't know. So I had to come out here and do some filming, even though I said I was gonna today to get some filming done. And decided to go live because I've only done it once before, and now it's been a couple months. That was in the evenings, which may actually work better in some instances. But I wanted to try earlier in the day. You can hear the 408 in the distance. I did the video on the final resting place of 4 of the victims of the Pulse nightclub shootings about 6 months ago, and they're over in the north side of the cemetery. And it's right by the expressway. And I remember trying to do the video thinking I was going to have to do a whole bunch of voiceovers because of how loud it was. As you see here, these are 1887. So definitely some original final resting places here. Hello, hello. Oh, there are 3 people now. Guess maybe I should time these live videos for a little bit later in the afternoons on Saturdays. It's one of the tricky things, trying to figure out when to upload. You know, you pull up this little algorithms, they show you a schedule showing you where most people who view your videos, when do they view your videos, when do they view videos in general, like when are they on YouTube, how long are they typically on YouTube, and you can kind of use that to gauge what time of day and what days to upload. And I've tried to use those. to kind of gauge. I think I've kind of done a little bit of everything. Private plane landing. Again, we're very close to the executive airport as well, which is a private airport here in downtown Orlando. The executive airport's really close to downtown, which is why there's a cap on how long or how tall, not how long, how tall. There's a cap on how tall what's the former SunTrust building. Glitching a little bit. The former SunTrust building is the cap. That's about as tall as a building can be in downtown Orlando. I'm probably gonna be finishing up here in just a moment. Appreciate those of you who decided to take and jump in with the live stream today. Much appreciated, taking some time out of your day to check in. As always, in the future, if you'd like to take and ask me any comments, by all means, feel free to leave some comments letting me know, what would you like to see in the future? So yeah. Seems like everyone's pretty much left who was just here, so guess I'll be signing off here. I appreciate all of you who decided to pop in at various different times throughout this live stream. Wasn't so sure how long I was going to live stream for, but yeah. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Have a great weekend, everyone. Definitely gonna have some new videos up if you're watching this after the fact. Just so you know, I've got a few hints on a couple of videos that I'm gonna be doing or have done and gonna be uploading soon. So yeah, I think maybe one or two more places I might go in the cemetery before I leave. But I'll leave you guys for now. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Continue to look for the history and film. I appreciate all of your support by watching my videos, subscribing to my channel, continuing to support me in all the different ways that you support me. If you would like to take and donate to the channel, there's opportunities for that. It's not an expectation. Any donation that you're willing to give me would be extremely, extremely appreciative of. All the money that I would receive through donations and stuff go directly into buying better resources, better cameras, buying a decent gimbal, eventually getting around to buying the drone, different things like that. I'm trying to do it privately, but if you guys would like to help with that, to help make these videos that you support, much appreciated. Have a great afternoon, everyone. See you guys later.